Hello lovelies and happy new year. I'm downstairs doing face-to-face video, but hopefully you don't hear too much going on upstairs. The joys of being in the garage in a double story is it echoes and there might be some yelling. Kids are at home, it's the school holidays, this is the best we're going to get for the next couple of weeks. But I haven't done a video in a good couple of weeks except for haul videos. I got sick around Christmas and I lost my voice. So I've only just been able to stop coughing up a lung and being able to talk semi-normally. So hopefully now we can get back into some videos, and there's some great cyber crops and challenges coming up. So I'm hoping that that'll get me in the scrappy mojo kind of mood. I've just cleaned up my desk. It looks wonderful. So I'm hoping that will really get me back into the crafty mood. My crafty mojo has been lacking for probably the past 3 years. I'm doing the bare minimum, nowhere near as much as I used to. It's just life. That's the way it is. I guess I'm just in a bit of a rut at the moment. I thought it was just after Ruby was born and having a new baby, but I don't know. It's just, yeah, lots happening. Family life, additional needs children, neuro spicy family. It all just happens. I've got one starting high school this year, one finishing high school this year. Ruby's up to 3 days at preschool this year. She's recently just got her diagnosis as well. There's a lot going on. So I'm hoping to be able to, make the effort to find some routine for myself down here so I can start scrapping more. My albums are so far behind, it's not funny, and I just want to get the photos in the albums, and I really want to get scrapping again, and not just here and there. I was scrapping almost every day a couple of years ago, but yeah, it just doesn't happen as much anymore. But I do know that is my neurospicy brain struggling to do anything after 8 p.m. once everyone's in bed and sorted for the evening. But yeah, so my goal for today is to explain to you the epiphany I had about my journaling. So I've talked about my journaling in the past. I keep a journal. I attempt to keep a journal. And when I starts out pretty good. So these are the journals I decided to use last year. So I have one which is a commonplace journal, which I'll talk more about that later. These are the journals I had from last year. Now, if you look at the difference, this was for the first half of the year, this was for the second half of the year. It starts out strong and then it dwindles. Now, I always have things that I want to write down, but the way I have been doing it in the past, I think is where I'm going wrong. So I have kept journals for years. I started with these good old ones from Aldi, which was a day to a page, and it was just when I was writing. So even there's blanks, but just filling up pages of text, and it was a day to a page. And then I would, I've had the 360 ones where, it was a bit more creative, still day to a page, and each page was for that specific day. Last year, the end of the year, I got to the same again. It is, every page is for every day of the year. So my goal was to write something every day. But as you can see, that's the first half of the year. Towards the second half of the year, we start to get a lot of gaps. I'm talking a lot of gaps. And the only reason there is writing is because I write something in my phone, or I put a note down because I really wanted to journal something, but my brain gets stuck on the fact, well, I can't fill in September because I haven't done August. It might be November 30th. I want to write something down, but my brain will not let me because, well, August, September, October is all empty. So I can't just open up the page to November 30 and write. My brain doesn't let me do that. So I've decided to scrap this way of journaling this year. My favorite way I journaled I've done it a couple of times, and it is when I made my own journals. I made junk journals. I love junk journals. And this was really good because it was a great mix of, there's all sorts of random things that just sort of sit in there, which I really need to glue in, but this is going to help me this year, I think. So this was a more creative way of doing it. So I had, space for paintings and pictures and all sorts of random stuff. But I still had the space to journal. So this was my favorite style of journal. I do love the junk journals, but still it was that rigid, every day needed a page. I've decided to hopefully get around the fact that I have gaps, because obviously my neurodivergent brain, I don't stick with it. I'm not going to journal every day. But there'll be days when I really do want to write something down. But like I said, I get stuck on the fact that I can't because I've missed the last month or so. And I have to fill those pages in before I can get to today to fill in today. I'm going to scrap that. I have decided I'm going to scrap daily journaling. I've never finished a full journal. It doesn't happen. So what I'm going to do, and I don't know why I've never done it before, I'm going to have a journal. I'm probably going to go with a junk journal. Depends if I can get it made soon enough, because I do love junk journals. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to date it. I'm not going to have any dates on it. I'm going to have it with me. If I need a second one, great. But I'm going to write when I want to write. And then I'll just put the date on that. I'm not going to document every day. I have a Project Life album for that. I don't need to put photos in every day. If something noteworthy happens, I'll write it down. If I miss a week, a month, 2 months, it's not going to be a big deal, because the very next page will be when I want to write something down. I'm not going to force myself to get stuck into the every day needs a page, because it doesn't. In my life, it doesn't. I'm not going to write it. There are look at this. This is the end of the year. And I dated it, so it was July 1st. My birthday's in July, and there's next to nothing in here. And I just filled in when I did want to write something down. Now, my intention every year, when I get to the end, just like my December daily, is to go back and fill those in. Put a bit of writing here, a bit of photos here, whatever it is. Never happens. So, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop putting the pressure on myself to journal every day. Because when I want to write something down, thanks to my neurospicy brain, if I don't write it down, 1, I'm going to forget it. And 2, I just don't have the capacity to write every day. Some days it's just not going to happen. And then when I get to something that I do want to write down, I can't write it down right away because there's gaps in my journal that I just can't move past. So we're going to get rid of the gaps. I have decided I'm going to keep a journal as I do, but I'm not going to do January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'm not going to do it every day. When I want to write something down, I'm going to write it down, and it's going to be the next page in my journal. I'm not going to worry about the fact that I've missed the previous 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. Does that make sense? I'm going to be flexible about it. It's my journal. I can do it any way I like. We can do our creative endeavors any way we like. But I don't know why I've never done this before. I don't know why I've always felt the need to stick to that rigid, you must have a page for every day. And then if you don't write on it, well, you still have to have that page every day and just move on and fill in all the rest of the days. I don't know why I've been stuck in that formula. I've decided I'm not going to. I've decided I'm going to give myself a break, and I'm going to have a journal with no dates. I'm just going to write whenever I want to write. So if something happens, or if I feel like writing something specific, I'm going to write it down, and I'm not going to worry about where it falls in my journal, which is also going to leave me plenty of space for all these random little knickknacks as well. So if I have a photo or a screenshot or something, a text message that I've decided I want to put in there, I'm just going to put it straight in. I'm not going to worry about where it falls. So does that make sense? Let me know. Do you journal? And if so, what is the system you have? I know that Jen Hall, she's my idol. But I can't journal like she does. I can't journal every day. She doesn't do Project Life or scrapbooking as much, so she documents everything in her journals. So she puts photos and it looks beautiful. I don't have the capacity for that. I might start out good, but it never goes that way. I never finish. Her journals are always complete and beautiful, and as much as I love that idea, I just can't do it. I know people that do morning pages where they just write every morning. Again, I can't do that. I don't know. I struggle to get. I'm not a morning person, so I don't think morning pages are for me either. But I also know people that carve out time every day to write in their journals and before they go to bed. Again, it's just not something I can stick to. I know me, and I know I'm not going to. I might start out good, but yeah, it's just not going to happen. So I'm hoping that this way of journaling will be so more flexible for me, so that when I do have something I want to document and write down, I can just open my journal and write it straight down. I don't have to save it in my phone and hope I'll remember it when I get caught up in my journal, because I'm never going to get caught up. I'm hoping that just by having a random book, junk journal book, whatever it may be, where I can just open a page and write down what I want, and that will be my journal for the year. Now, the difference between that and my commonplace journal. So in my journaling last year, I mentioned that I had discovered something called a commonplace journal. Now, a commonplace journal is basically a journal, but more, and I've written it here, a journal is more of a personal record of events. A commonplace book, on the other hand, is more like a place where your thoughts and ideas collect, a common place for all of that. So the difference being, in here I've got random pictures, stuff what I've tested out. I have my vision board from last year, but I also have random quotes, notes, like this is a course that I wanted to do, testing out some pens, a drawing Ruby did, but also literally just notes on things that interest me. So at the moment I'm really interested in annotating books, so I've written down, you know, things things like that, you know, someone else's opinions, or not someone else's opinions, but, you know, reasons why people annotate books and food. Just literally things that I wanted to write down, not necessarily things that I wanted to, like, in my personal journal for my personal records, like what we did, thoughts, feelings, things like that. This is more, you know, when you need a notebook to write something down, this is more like that. People put shopping lists, to-do lists, all sorts of things in here, but this is more of a place where, you know, I put those things that I hyper-focus on at the moment. So the dopamine foods, the ADHD versus anxiety, the information on the certificate I wanted to do, the Osling course, all those things. So that is going to be the difference between my commonplace journal and my journal. So also I started this last year and there's not much in there at all. So this will just keep going until it's full. When I want to write things down, you know, that information dump in there. Whereas my journal will be specifically for this year with the hopes of filling it, but also this will be my thoughts, feelings, personal record type thing. Does that make sense? So they are going to be my 2 ways I'm journaling this year. I will keep my commonplace journal, but that'll be more where I, you know, take my notes, put things down. Whereas my journal that I'm going to have, I'm going to stick to having a daily journal, but I'm not going to restrict myself to writing in it every day. I'm not going to force that upon myself. I'm going to be more flexible, and I'm just going to have a book that I can write my thoughts and feelings in whenever I want to write. So I'm not going to be locked into having a page, having a date or a page, and then feeling like I have to go back in and fill all that in. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments below. Do you have a journal? And what system do you use? Do you have a system, or are you just, you know, you just free will, do it your way? I know what I'm trying to say. It's getting late. I'm tired. But I really wanted to get this video up. It's my first video for the new year. And I really did want to share my epiphany with you of where I've gone wrong with my journaling in the past. Because as you can see, what month was this? So I have a problem with not writing the months in as well. But see, I write the date at the top, like a little number. But sometimes I forget to write the month. So is this for the second half of the year or for the first half? But either way, towards the end of the year, they start to get, I start to struggle with filling it in. And like I get lots of empty pages towards the end of the year. No matter what way I journal, no matter which year, what journal I've used, towards the end of the year, we start to get a lot more blank pages. It's just, yeah, the way it is. So that is why I'm hoping that this will solve my problem. So like I keep saying, let me know in the comments below, do you journal? How do you journal? Do you do morning pages? Do you have a junk journal? Do you do a commonplace journal? I'd love to hear all things journaling. I would love to hear what works for you, what doesn't work for you specifically. Do you want to see my journal supplies? Let me know. Yes, I have supplies. I'm a supply nerd. I love stationery. I love books. I love it all. As you can see, I have masses of it. But I actually got this really cool tote off Temu. Yes, I love Temu. And I have been using this for my journaling supplies. I have outgrown it because, like I said, I have too many journals. But because I'm going to stick to the one journal, this is going to work wonderfully for me. So I'm going to reset this up to for my 2025 journaling. So if I'm upstairs, downstairs, all I need is this and I can write in my journal. That is my goal. Well, that is one of my goals. I don't really have many creative goals this year, except hopefully this works better for me and I can journal my thoughts and feelings much more easily having this system. And of course I do, as always, want to create more but that is more of a mental health thing than a creative goal that I need to focus on, because it's more about getting down here in my space and finding the time and the mojo to get down here and create more. With Ruby at school 3 days a week now, I'm hoping to use at least one of those days as nothing but a creative day, and then maybe another day as a filming day so I can get videos back on track. But yeah, so as creative goals go, that's pretty much it. But I did just want to share this video about my journaling. So let me know what you think. Do you think I will do better this year with this system? All right, well, that's it from me for now. I'll be back real soon with a new video. Bye for now.